Peace, y'all. Hope you're doing well today. So, I want to share a spiritual experience I had and how it aligns with the mission of true clarity and just more exploration about how I and how others move through the world and who I really want to be. So, let's get into it right away. First of all, I've been practicing a lot with my root chakra and my heart chakra. I mean, throat chakra as well, but the root and the heart have been very big for me. So I've been using a lot of my red, my jasper mala, and the other one is jade. This one called to me yesterday, and of course, as we know, blue and this is lapis lazuli is good for the throat chakra and truth and just really speaking, right? That's what is kind of the message of this entire, rest of this video right here, but it's actually speaking. So I put this on and I went about my day. And my first task, so the first thing I was doing was actually getting ready for a weekend in West Virginia with some European Americans. That didn't happen. And, I get it. I see why. I was then like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and head over to my friend's house to drop off this package, and we'll go from there. So that sounds like it's gonna be like an easy journey, an easy thing to do, but there in it becomes the actual joy of life and how you can experience these signs that are all around you, right? This is about signs. So I'm in the car and I drive Lyft. So to get over to the stop, sometimes you can, if you're headed somewhere, you can request like only rides going that direction. So I did that. So I get a ride, and on my way to the ride to pick the girl up, there's this woman to my right, and I see her walking. And the next thing I know, I just see like her hands and legs go up in the air. She falls, and it's clearly an elderly woman. Now I have something to do, right? I'm going somewhere, and I'm also doing my best to not be in this savior mode. I have to save and help everybody. So, while my first intuition, of course, is like help, I'm like, let me just take a breath and see who's gonna help her, right? Because there's folks who are around her. So I'm thinking, okay, somebody's gonna assist her. You probably know where I'm going with this. I waited for about 15 seconds. Nobody helped. Nobody assisted. So what I do, I parked my car in the middle of the road and ran over to her because like people don't realize how serious a fall is and can be, especially for an elderly person. So I'm just just shocked by that. So I go over, I talk with her, and I inspect her. I'm like touching, like I'm asking her to touch herself here and her elbow, looking at her phone. And she's telling me she had a hip surgery last year. So the most I can do right then, so I can get to my day. Her name was Lydia, by the way. I was like, let's pray. Let's take a moment. Take some breaths, Lydia. Take some breaths so you can feel where it's at in your body. And after that, went about her day. Then I finally picked up my passenger, whose name was Maya. Now, why that's important, her name Maya, Maya is a word or a term that means breaking through the illusion, breaking through the matrix, even maybe breaking through barriers. And with her, when Maya got on the phone, she was because and look, naturally apprehensive because I was helping the lady. She was like on the phone with her boyfriend. I can kind of sense her energy was kind of up. But as soon as I spoke, I used my voice and used my throat to really say what was going on. She had a full understanding of why I was like, a extra 1 or 2 minutes late. Um, and that in itself later led to me getting the tip with Lyft. And usually cash tips, I don't get those even back in the day when I was driving Lyft. So I thought that was like a sign that like, as you use your voice, for one, not only does it bring you, joy and abundance and tips, but she was able to be disarmed. And I'm hoping that through my story of telling her about like, hey, we should be helping people, like we shouldn't let somebody fall on the street, like hopefully through that story she feels better about whoever I am, whoever she thinks about black men, about men, and just hopefully she does better in her life, right? So that's the first half. Then I'm like, okay, cool. So now she's dropped off, so now we're still headed to my friend's house to drop that package off, right? On the way to the house, something else happens. I'm driving and in the middle of the street. This guy's walking down the middle, and he's asking for stuff. He's currently housing insecure, so he's asking for things. And I don't also, again, back to savior mode. I'm not always like, oh, let me just give to everybody I see. I give what I can give when I can give it. However, this sign, this guy was different. This sign said, I will work, I just need food, right? He said food. Because for me, I think that if somebody needs food as a society, we're failing if we can't feed people. If we can't give everybody money, like, whatever. Like, I don't think that's never gonna happen. But feed, I'm like, if you tell me I can't look somebody in the eye and somebody say they need food and me not get it for them. So he told me like, hey, I need some food. I said, bet, wait right here. I'm gonna go get it for you. Uh, and so I got him. So even with this, right? Again, more the journey that was going on today. He probably would have loved something like really like greasy and heavy, right? And that would have appeased him. But the way that I help people and the way that even me feels good if I'm gonna do it, it has to be somewhat healthy. But there's a balance, right? Because what he might have needed was like a salad and a smoothie. But instead of getting the salad or a smoothie, and instead of getting the greasy fast food over here, I said, you know what? How about I come right in the middle of that spectrum and get you what's it called? What's the Peruvian chicken place called? Nando's. Let me get you Nando's peri peri, chicken, rice, and some veggies in there. Go from there. So that was a whole journey, going to get that. That was interesting. And then of course, also again, I went to Safeway, and one of the so I went to Safeway to get some snacks. I'm like, because again, right? This is another thing, right? So many times we treat these we treat housing insecure people like they're not real humans. And this also, before I go forward with that, is that when I was saving the spot of where he was at in Google Maps so I could come back to it, at first I put homeless man. But then I was like, do I really want to speak that upon his life? Do I really want to call him that? Is that really like the core of what he is or interaction? I was like, no. I saw a backspace and I put, this man wants food. That's it. I don't what his situation is, you know, isn't always mine to delve all the way into. But what it is that you told me you need food. That's who you are to me right now. You're not a homeless. You're not a drug. You're none of that. You need food, and I got you. So either way, I got the safe way, and I'm like, okay. Again, like I said, treating him like a human. You're gonna want snacks. You don't just want food. Like, let me actually help ease your journey out here as you're traveling, outside of a home. So I got chips, I got apples, we got some berries, I got the water, of course, I already had that in my car, and a few of the things I'm gonna show in the video. But another big point is that I had so much fun doing that. I actually was walking with just so much joy in my face, and it just reminded me that this is what I'm meant to do. Like, whether I gotta make all the money for myself, right? And work my ass off to first take care of my family and then do others. Or, which is probably gonna happen, I'm gonna get funded for this. This is so important and it brings me joy. We need more coalitions and people like that. So either way, then I drive back to the point, and guess what? You may know he's not there. He's gone. And it was hurtful because I'm, of course, thinking about all the things that I could have done better, this and this. And the thing about it, though, he may have had somebody promise him food before, and they probably didn't come back. So I had to also keep that in mind that it might not be me. You might just not trust that I'm going to come back. And I understand, which also solidifies, as I say more, we need like a more dedicated, healthy response to these, and like some maybe centers everywhere around, maybe pop-ups everywhere around the city so we can deliver food right then and there, not have to go get it or anything. But again, I know there's plenty of pantries and kitchens. Thank y'all for what you do. I want to take this pause right here as well. Thank you for all the people who are providing legislation, who are providing food, services, waking up early, going to sleep late, using their own money, who are working for companies, who are helping people, who are working jobs for companies who aren't helping folks, but you're helping folks yourself. I see you. Thank you so much. We need this. So instead of me getting bummed out and being like, F it, I was like, you know what? Let me just drive up a little bit, and I am sure that I can align and connect with somebody who may be housing or food insecure, who wants this food. So that's what I did. I hit the streets, and it felt so good to just get right on the streets and talk to the people, not have to be this figure that's away. Because again, that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be this person who just is like a shadow figure and doesn't really connect with the people or know their needs in this area, whether it's DC or Baltimore. So Ward 7, Ward 8 specifically in DC. And on that note, I was actually in Congress Heights when this happened, so it's not Ward 7, Ward 8. But so I found this person, and at first I wasn't sure. I was in my car and he's shaking. He on the seat going like this. He's shaking, hands moving. I think he's talking to himself. And again, I'm like, in this perfect utopian world where everything is flowers and like puppies, yeah, I can just go over to you, touch you, save you, and everything is beautiful. But this is like, again, this is kind of like one of the themes of the story is finding that balance, because me personally, where I'm at right now, I can't just freely just give to everybody, but you can't just avoid things or people who might make you a little uncomfortable. So with me, what I did, I was like, I'm not gonna do it right now, but I'll spin around the block and then I'll know for sure. So lo and behold, I spun around the block one time and I came back and I saw him and he calmed down. That let me know, it let my intuition know that okay, he was having a moment. You're also strong enough to protect yourself. So go over there now. The energy is calm over there, right? Not even just the person is calm, but the energy is different. It's calmer now. So go and approach him. So I went over to him and I went over there with the food, the bag of food. I'm sorry, the Nando's and the bags of food. And I was like, hey, you want this Nando's first? Again, I want to approach him first with something you can readily eat fast. You can get it right away. And he was like, oh, well, hell yeah. So then I opened the bag. I was like, hey, you want some water? He's like, yeah. I was like, you want some berries? He's like, yeah. You want some watermelon? He said, is it cut? I'm like, hell yeah. He said, hell yeah. So I gave him some watermelon. So at this point, he's just like in amazement, and he opens the water, and I just start asking, like, again, I want to know who you are. I don't want to just be giving out stuff to anybody. I want to actually connect with who you are. His speech was less than his speech was different than most people talk and speak. So it was a little difficult to understand him. And it took a few moments, and I just, again, asked his name, and he finally was able to kind of pronounce it. He was like, he said, John John. So I met John John out over there. And again, you talk about, more themes of the story. I was like, this is not some Hallmark movie. I ain't got to sit here with you and talk to you for an hour and take you back to my place and get you showered up and, get you a new job and a new lease on life. It's like, nah, that's not always what this is. So I think him even having that different speech was kind of a sign is that, yo, I don't need to spend my whole day talking with you in order to help you. Like, that might just make me feel good, but nah, what you need right now, I want to provide you some allopathic medicine, some allopathic help right now. Remember that allopathic medicine, because that's going to come up in about 2 minutes. So most profound thing about this, though, and how I knew that my mission was complete as far as, giving this food out, he said, I was like, what? He said, I said, what? He said, Black Panther. I said, uh, and right then and there, I think I'm getting chills talking about it again. Right then and there, I knew that I got the message that I was supposed to get, and that my subconscious was looking for that day. And I knew that I could now move on. So I gave him a few more things. We pounded and left out. Let's see. I think, and this is after I had went to my friend's house and told her about what happened. So now, after I decide, this is the next part. Now, after I decide that I'm done with, that area, I'm done with my philanthropy for that moment, I then go ahead and hop back on Lyft, and I'm like, okay, let's hop on Lyft and see who's available, see who's there. The first trip that I get is, I'm gonna stop right there. Before I go there, I'm gonna go back real quick. So the signs, right? After I talked to the man that needed the food the first time, I drove and I saw the license plate. It said bless. It was the first car I parked behind. Like, out of every car I could have parked behind, bless. Then across the street, it said All Souls Universal Church. Now, why it's important is because the willingness and open that I currently have right now to the universe, right? I am currently in that openness to experience some other people, like even European Americans, more and more. But it has to be on, divine timing. And today wasn't that, yesterday wasn't that divine timing, but still, it was like, yo, I see you. I see the mission. I see that you're here. You're open. So either way, then after I again dropped off the food and I had my mission, I I got back on driving Lyft, and the first first ride I got was a ride going to Children's National Hospital. And again, why that's important is because allopathic medicine, it reminded me how much that my daughter Kathara needed that allopathic medicine, what you need right now to survive. And again, there's still that balance though. I personally don't agree with giving food insecure people things that just help them survive. If it has high preservatives or high chemical count that isn't conducive towards that body, I don't like it. I don't think it's healthy. And healthy is subjective, right? Sometimes you may need something to get you through a few more hours to be your true health. Sometimes you need allopathic medicine, things that you need right then and there for urgent things to move you on, to get you to that next stage to where your body is calm enough to even receive and think and perceive that you need different food and different medicines to keep your body healthy. So all in all, I am really excited for the energy that is circulating around and that is also returning back within my body. We, I, us, DC will get the food justice that they deserve. There will be healthy cooking demos. There will be free food. There will be music. There will be dance. There will be joy. There will be health. There will be wellness. There will be true clarity. Peace. Okay, I forgot one part of the story, the end, I guess. So then, as at this point, like I said, it's a whole day. I'm over here, like I got the message to drive around Southeast DC and look for some lots, look for some land. I mean, there's not much land over there, but I'm like, again, let's get to the point, right? Let's get to the facts. There's a food desert over here in Southeast DC in Ward 7, Ward 8. The only solution is to have food grown over there, unless we're going to deliver the food from PG County and other places into town to those stores. But then there's not like a health store to carry those things. So what I suggest is that we need to get serious about turning all the lots in DC into gardens and farms. Everything is available. Make it a community garden. Either way, so after that journey, what's significant about that is that I was gonna go to Grounded earlier and do some thinking and some planning then, but again, I got the message to go out and do what I did, and I actually met some people. Yeah, later I met some people who have some good ideals and some leads. So then I finally ended that part of the day. I think at like maybe 6:30, maybe 6 o'clock, by going to Grounded and getting a matcha latte. Now, as soon as I walk into Grounded, I see somebody I know. It's an instant like love. Then her friend comes out, instant love, and we're all just there existing. And we start talking, having this beautiful conversation. And we just go over about how you weren't gonna come here earlier, how I was doing this, just how divine it was that the connection that we had there at the moment was being made. And from that connection, that was something that, for my life at least, boosted as they referenced that somebody else was looking for some services or ideas that I have so we can build. So, just another wonderful divine day, and give thanks for listening. Peace.